Magic is a compelling and potent art form. The magician challenges the very limits of our perceptions of reality. In the wrong hands, this power is often used for more than mere entertainment. Mind readers, faith healers, soothsayers, and psychics are all too willing to use the art form to exploit an unsuspecting public. Despite our high-tech scientific age, lurid tabloid headlines still lead us to believe in a wide range of paranormal activity, including psychokinesis, telepathy, and ESP.
People would much rather, in one sense, believe in illusion than to debunk it. I think that is a fact. And there's almost a capacity to want to be taken in. The goals out there are gullible, and a magician can either act as if it's real magic, and so people think it is in the universe, or provide some kind of skeptical critique.
Magician James Randi is perhaps the magic community's most visible critic of the paranormal. Ironically, he began his career giving the illusion of psychic ability, a form of magic known as mentalism. He later adopted the name The Amazing Randi and took up an escape act. Many consider him the best escape artist since Harry Houdini. In the 1970s, Randi found a receptive audience for his skepticism while touring college campuses. He began lecturing and has since made debunking claims of the paranormal his life work.
I have specialized knowledge about what the truth about these things really is. It's not what they would perceive it to be. It's not what they're told by the schlock artists who are selling it to them.
With a donation from an anonymous benefactor, Randi began a foundation to investigate claims of the paranormal in 1996.
I'm offering a $1.1 million prize through my foundation to any person who can perform any occult, paranormal, or supernatural event of any kind under proper observing conditions. It's a very simple offer. People that do this sort of thing every day, and in many cases make a living doing it, all they have to do is do it once for me, and I give them $1.1 million US.
If magicians are skeptics, it's because their specialized knowledge gives them a unique insight on those claiming special powers.
Magicians are very helpful, the conjurers, because they can detect fraud and sleight of hand, and perhaps explain how and why this is happening.
Paul Kurtz is the founder and chairman of PSYCOP, the Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal.
Its purpose was to bring together scientists, scholars, magicians, and others to provide the public with the critical examination of the claims of the paranormal. We've had many magicians involved with PSYCOP, and among the most important has been, of course, James Randi. And he's very skilled and very adroit in going out into the field and trying to find out what happens.
Sometimes I think that I feel that my mind is going into this.
In the early 1970s, both PSYCOP and James Randi investigated one of the most famous claims of paranormal ability in the last 50 years. Their subject, a self-proclaimed psychic from Israel named Uri Geller.
I visualize a sort of a screen in my mind.
He claimed to have these special powers, psychic powers. He could read the content of an envelope. He can bend keys, stop watches, and so on. And he became surely a very famous media personality. And he was tested by many scientists. Now the question is, does Uri Geller possess psychic powers or not? We've investigated Uri Geller, many people associated with the committee on their own. Each person speaks for himself and not for the committee. And in our view, he does not have psychic powers. And whatever he has done could be done using normal means of magic.
Mr. Geller has been shown repeatedly to be doing things which appear to the experienced eye to be simple conjuring tricks. And he has refused to be tested in definitive scientific laboratories under scientific conditions. And for some reason or other, he has refused to take me up on my $1.1 million prize offer. Gee, I wonder if that's significant.
One of Uri Geller's most famous feats was his ability to predict the contents of a sealed envelope, which contained a drawing made by an impartial participant. Moments before the envelope was opened, Geller would make a drawing of his own. As magician Simon Lovell demonstrates, achieving a match doesn't necessarily require psychic ability.
Let's say I'd been at home and I want to look like a psychic, and I've sealed a drawing of some whatever it is inside an envelope. And I come to the party and I ask everybody at the party to draw a picture. And now I'm going to open my envelope, rip it open, and pull out my drawing. What are the chances of it matching? Well, many would say 0. But let's look what I drew, and let's see how good a match it would be. Now, I've drawn a little sailboat here with a little triangular sail, a little bottom boat piece, a little sun maybe in the top, a little rivery, watery wave. Now, if you'd drawn that, of course, you'd think it was a miracle. But that's not how psychics work. They work on the odds. So, for example, if you'd drawn a house with a little triangular top and a little box, you see where I'm going. This could just be a misconception of the image coming across. If you'd drawn a tree, like a Christmas tree, with a triangle and a little pot on it, well, that again would be regarded as a hit. Say you'd just drawn a triangle, that would be regarded as a partial hit. Anything oblongy or squarey could be regarded as a partial hit. Anything circular, again, you have a partial hit. I could carry this on, but I think you see where I'm going. It's very easy to take any piece of information from one source and apply it to another source and make it a psychic hit. It doesn't mean anything psychic has happened at all. And those images, incidentally, the triangle, the square, and the circle, are the most common things people will draw. One of them will be in that picture somewhere. It's not psychic, it's fraud.
And I've never seen anyone who can, but I'm going to show you how I would go about it if I could read your mind. Then I do mentalism that absolutely blows them away.
There's a gentleman who ends his performance by saying, I have used my 5 senses to produce the illusion of a 6th. Thank you and good evening. Now, that takes all the onus off the thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a performance like that. The man can appear to be doing a mental act as long as somewhere along the line he says quite clearly that this is not really mental powers. I have no battle with that kind of a performance, none whatsoever.
It's obvious I can't read minds, but then I don't believe anyone can, is one of the things I used to say. But what you'll see in the next few minutes will be the closest single thing you'll ever see to actual mind reading. And then I would go out and, believe it or not, after you're finished, and even though you tell them that you're a fake, you know, that this is just for entertainment purposes, people will come back and they want you to give them private readings, and they really believe this. So it's an area where mysticism still pervades a great deal. People want that to be true.
Peter, just remember the value of this article. Tell them, identify the value, Tess.
My sense right now is we got lucky. It's a big bill. I think it's worth $100.
Good. $100 bill. Tell them the serial number, Tess.
I need you to focus on that bill for me, Peter. Really look at it closely. I have a sense of letters. Focus on the letters, Peter. Is the first one an A?
Nice and loud. Yes.
Yes? Followed by a J. And then, I believe that's an S.
Yes, it is.
Good.
Keep at it, Peter. Glance at the numbers.
We're going to try to do the numbers now. I get quick senses of numbers. 7 jumped out, a 5 jumped out at me. But want you to go to the very beginning. Oh, I think it actually starts with a 7.
That's correct.
4.
Right.
0.
Correct.
5.
Yes.
Another 5.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
Peter is the last number, a 1.
Right on.
The entire serial number. 100%, Tessa.
Thank
You've
you.
done it. Hold on a second.
Good mind.
While Jeff and Tessa don't claim to have supernatural abilities, they keep their minds open to the possibility that there could be something else at work.
Well, I think when we first started off, we were using a lot of techniques that we had learned, so it was just all a learned process. And as time moved on, we both started discovering that there were certain either objects or certain times in the show that I would suddenly be able to get this information, and I assumed Jeff was concentrating on it or we were using our techniques, and that's how I knew it. And he would say, no, he'd check after the show. He said, I had no idea what that was.
Take a look at this book.